my situation was is I was meditating for months on end, and it was going very good until one day I just had a terrible day and I wanted to stay in bed. I didn't want to meditate. I didn't even want to think because I was so sad. And I went to the bathroom and I finally had some time to think, because the rest of the time I was in front of a screen, and I thought, I can just do a 1-minute meditation while I'm sitting here and I will still complete my habit. And so I did it, and sure enough, the next day I came back. I was feeling much better. I did my 5 or 10 minute meditation and I just kept going, but it got me thinking, do we really need the all or nothing mentality so that we can succeed? I would like to tell you about a habit building technique that I call the 1-minute rule, or the more than nothing mentality. And for you to understand how that technique and that mentality works, I would like to tell you about the power of streaks when it comes to building a habit. So habit streaks are essentially the frequency at which you are going to do the habit. If I say that I'm going to perform a habit every Tuesday and I do it for a month, I have a 4-time streak of doing the habit every Tuesday. And there is this thing around the habit building community that is called Don't Break the Chain, which essentially means that every time you perform your habit for the streak, you are creating a link of a chain that is going further and further as long as you keep going. You feel like you have an investment in the habit, and if you break the chain, it feels like your investment is gone. So that is really motivating on the one side, and on the other side, when you know that you have such a long chain, it kind of feels good. It gives you a positive emotion, which is something that also motivates you. So emotions can really be turned into motivation, and you are much more likely to keep going. But there is a problem. You are very likely to get into one of two mentalities, either the all or nothing mentality, which most people get in, and the more than nothing mentality, which is what I want to share with you today. But let's talk about the automatic mentality that we go for, which I have went for many times, the all or nothing mentality. The reason we get in there is because it feels like if we break the chain once, it's broken and we're back at square zero, whereas realistically, we are not really at square zero. We already have a certain amount of performances of the habit. We're actually already better than we were. It feels like you are going to lose the game if you have a bad day, but everybody has bad days. So there's two outcomes for you depending on what kind of person you are. You can either incredibly push yourself and end up in a burnout, or you can be, okay, I can't do this infinitely long the way that I've been doing it, so I'm just going to give up today. And then you feel disappointed and maybe you get into a complete stillstand. You stop doing that habit. So you're either burned out or you're just out. So I discovered the more than nothing mentality for myself. And I remembered something that I had read before, which is from a book called The Slight Edge. And basically the emphasis of this book is that you are never standing in one place. You are either moving up or you're moving down, but you are always in some kind of momentum. So if you are doing a small positive change, this is going to compound, and depending on whatever you're doing, in a certain amount of time you are going to have a very positive big effect. And you might be going a little bit slower, you may be spending $20 more than you have every single day. Eventually you will have a very big minus in your account, and if you're saving $20, you will have a very big plus on your account, but you're never standing in one place. And this also makes me think of another quote by Lewis Carroll, who says, you have to run a lot to stay in the same place, and if you want to get ahead, you have to run even faster. So life is always moving, and obviously we have to move too, but is it all or nothing? No, it is whatever we have that day that we can give that will make a positive difference in our outcome at some point. So based on the more than nothing mentality, I came up with the 1 minute rule for myself. I think of the 1 minute rule as a very small action that I can do towards the habit that will check it off for the day if this is all I have. And mind you, you can have a little bit more than 1 minute, but the fact is, even a small action is already going to be enough to keep you moving forward. So how can you apply to whatever situation you have the 1 minute rule? I would start with taking your habit and trying to define a few different ways in which you can get that habit done. Say you are working out, maybe you can do 5 push-ups, maybe you can walk around the block, you can run for 10 minutes. There is many ways to work out that don't involve a very specific set in stone workout for every single day. So take your habit and just brainstorm a few ways you can get that habit done. So if you feel like you have almost nothing in you, you are going to take those 5 push-ups and you are going to be, okay, today I will do 5 push-ups and that checks off my workout habit. If you have a walk around the block, you're going to do that and it's going to check off your habit. You can do something small but still stay on track. So think about the things you can do, and whenever the need arises, try the 1 minute rule. Try the smallest thing you can do to get yourself on the positive side of the compound effect. And the one thing that I want to leave you with is that writing things down will really help you. Remember, we are trying to add the don't break the chain effect with the positive more than nothing mentality, with the 1 minute rule, so that you will always be going up and you will be motivated and you will have this emotion, the motivation that will get you to keep going. This is how I built my meditation habit. It's been going on for 4 months. It really helped me, and this would have helped me in the past when I have tried my workout habits that I essentially just gave up on because they were not sustainable. This is, I think, the most healthy in terms of mental health and physical health and well-being way to go about building habits, and I hope it helps you. I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.